Jeff, Jim, and Carmela, part number 10. The Hilton in Istanbul had a 5-star restaurant that Jeff had eaten in several times. The specialty was a thinly cut lamb, sliced very thin as it revolved on a spit. Turkish pastry was the best in the world, and Jeff always ate 2 pieces of a lemon cake that was famous at the Hilton restaurant. A Turkish man and woman seated at the table beside Jeff were having a heated conversation. Although they were speaking fluent Turkish, Jeff's talents kicked in, and he detected Russian in their speech. Could they be agents from Russia looking for Vladimir, as Jeff was doing? They would not reveal in their conversation if they were agents, because if they were Soviet agents, they would be working like Jeff to keep that a secret. Jeff was cataloging everything because if they found Vladimir before he did, he wanted to know about it. None of the conversation from the folks at the other table revealed anything other than their native tongue was Russian. It was normal to detect all kinds of languages and dialects in Istanbul in the 1960s because the city was crawling with people with all kinds of agendas, and more than a few were spies. Jeff always received expert service from the staff at the Istanbul Hilton. He gave generous tips, and the word had gotten around that Jeff was in the building. Jeff would not stay in another hotel in Istanbul. The Istanbul Hilton sat high above the Bosphorus, and from the rooftop observation deck, you could watch all the ship traffic coming and going to and from the Black Sea. This waterway was the only way from the Black Sea to the Mediterranean. As well as other flag carriers, this was the most important waterway for the Soviet Black Sea Fleet. The Soviets would bend over backwards to accommodate the Turks because the Turks could and would close the Bosphorus at a drop of a hat. The Cold War was real, and Jeff was amused watching all the Bosporus sea traffic flying the hammer and sickle. Jeff had crossed the Bosporus many times on one of the many ferry boats that used the Galata Bridge as a transfer point. Several routes would include stops at a Greek island. Jeff was cramming his brain with all the Vladimir information he could get out of headquarters. That is why he was going tonight with Carmela to listen to one of the most famous Turkish folk music bands in all of Europe and Asia. Vladimir was also a fan of this kind of music. Jeff did not expect to find Vladimir tonight, but he may overhear a conversation or a piece of reference from someone attending the performance. It was known that Vladimir had an affinity for young Turkish girls, especially if they were popular as belly dancers. Jeff knew those dancers would be performing tonight, which made it more likely Jeff would pick up some information that would lead to Vladimir.